Welcome back to the Leader Mentality Show with Rob Clemens. We are at CCMF at Grand Strand Brew Company and really having a great time today. I'm here with, I don't know if I can say this, but country music superstar legend, Lauren Hall. Is that good? Is that a good intro?
That is a great introduction. I'm honored. I don't think I deserve that, but thank you.
Well, no, you definitely deserve it. So much so we even got this picture on the backdrop, so we're ready to go.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, thank you so much for coming out. How's the experience been so far? You've already been out and done some songs so far, right?
Yeah, it's been really good. The audience has been really awesome, like very energetic. They're ready to hear. What's cool about festivals is they may not know you as an artist, but they come eager to discover new music. And even if they don't know who you are and you're playing all your originals, they still stand there and want to know what you're about. So it's cool to like meet new people that are going to follow you. So it's been really good.
It is good, right? Is this your first time at Myrtle Beach?
No, I'm from Charleston, so I've spent like a good amount of time up here. Like we play a few shows up here every now and then. And
right on.
Yeah, we played CCMF last year too. So.
That's right, you were here last year, absolutely. Well, what was your experience last year? Coming out of it, what are you thinking? Are you like, I want to do this every year, or is it, you know?
Yeah, I definitely want to do it every year. I've never been on the big stage, so I'm praying next year I'll get on the big stage.
Okay, so let's talk about goals, right?
Yeah, the big stage would be cool.
Yeah.
Me and my band were just talking about that. We were, a girl that was on the stage we were on today, she was on the big stage. She was on our stage, the little or the smaller stage last year. So she progressed to being on the big stage. We're like, it's going to happen for us next year.
Absolutely. Yeah. You always got to set your goals to where you want to be. It's almost like plotting a course if you're in a boat, right?
Exactly,
so very cool stuff. Well, let's start back from the beginning. You are obviously having a great career so far, and you've got aspirations. How did you get into this? Take us back to little Lauren and how you got here today.
Little Lauren was very shy. My dad's a musician. He's actually my drummer to this day.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, so he was a big influence on me. Like growing up, he played in church ministry, like with bands around town, and he was always like encouraging me to, do music. And he would hear me singing in my room, and he's like, "You have good pitch. Like, do you want to sing? Like, is that something you like?" And it's something I wanted to pursue, but I was just like terribly afraid of singing in front of people. So it took me like a few years of like, I would actually sing while he would play drums. And like growing up, we had a separate garage from our house, and he would like play drums. It was super loud, so no one could hear that I was singing like at the top of the staircase. So I would like go, and he was like just going away at the drums. I was like, he can't hear me singing, and so I can just sing, and nobody.
You just do your thing.
Do my thing.
Yeah. So do you? So if you ever get nervous now, does your dad just start really welling away on the drums? Is that
not? I mean, I get nervous every single time I play, and I think like that means you care.
Yeah.
I think if you don't get nervous, I mean, it doesn't go for everybody, but I think when you have a little bit of nerves, it means like you really care about what you're doing, and I think that's important. Like if you walk into it like I got this all the time. I think there's just a nice thing about being like, I'm honored to be here, like I'm thankful to be here, I hope I do a good job, like obviously not wanting to be like anxious to the point of like it crippling you.
Right, you don't want your voice trembling, but no, I appreciate that, because I think that what happens is a lot of us let our fears conquer us.
Yeah.
And some of the greatest gains that most people make in life are that first time that you walk out on the track, if you do NASCAR, the first time you walk out on that stage, but you say, this is important enough for me to do it. Yeah. And the crowd, I feel like, not that they know, you probably are able to hide it well, but I think it's easy to embrace that person. Yeah. Right? I almost take it like, when I have done hiring in the past, I've looked at the person who comes in and is a little bit nervous. That means a lot to me, because I'm like, this means something to you.
Well, it shows like them being authentic, and like, because people a lot of times will look at somebody on a stage or with like any kind of platform, and they think, you don't struggle with that, or you're like this superhuman person that like just kills it all the time, and you never struggle with anything. And it's like, no, like, and I think if you have a platform too, it's important to let people into that, because it lets them see that somebody who's doing something they deem like a big deal, like they struggle with the same thing. It makes you relatable. It makes them want to listen to your music, come to your shows, or whatever you do, like support your business. Like you're not holding it all together all the time, where you're like not relatable to people.
Yeah,
you know?
100%. And I think that there's been a lot of stories of big stars over the years who do struggle with this. I remember I heard a story about Conan O'Brien at one point, who he would throw up before he went on stage sometimes. And you think about it, he does it every single night. So do you find that it goes like that your level of maybe nerves has dropped over the years, or is it still similar?
It honestly, it varies from show to show. Like, I was joking about this earlier with my band, but I got an hour and a half of sleep last night because I'm one of those people where I have a big show or like a photo shoot or something that's important to me, and I'll like get all in my head and I won't sleep. But it's my anxiety that's like doing that. But it just varies from show to show, and you know, for me, like my faith is really important to me. Like, I pray a lot about it. I try to rely on, you know, God's strength more than mine, and like I know that if He wants me to be doing what I'm doing, then He's going to show up where I'm weak, and like He's going to help me get through that if it's something that is my path and what I'm supposed to be doing.
Powerful stuff. I'll tell you, I really appreciate that. The Bible talks about perseverance.
Yeah.
And that is what this is all about, right? It's perseverance to get to what your end goal is.
Yeah.
What would you say, not that I want to stay on nervousness the whole time, but what would you say is the most nervous you've ever been getting on a stage? Do you remember the time?
I do. It happened last year. It was a very big deal for me. I got an opportunity to sing with Lee Bryce.
Wow.
And it's a stadium in Charleston, and it's 5 minutes from where I grew up. It holds like 10,000 people. And my producer knows Lee Bryce really well. He's produced a few of his albums, and we had this connection through my producer, and I somehow got to sing with him. But I'd never sang in a stadium before, and there was a lot of pressure on me to do a good job, and this is not the moment to be nervous or screw up.
Right.
So trying to get out of my head and be calm and trust that it's going to go okay. And it went really well, and but I was so nervous. Oh
my God, was it what? Okay, so give the viewers a tip. What is your go-to? You're really nervous. You're about to step out there. How do you get over it?
I think I always I'll go by myself. Sometimes it's in a bathroom or something, and I'll pray and get quiet. And I also I heard someone say this one time. They're remember that people want you to succeed. They don't want you to fail. So that kind of takes this pressure off of they're not sitting out there going, oh, I wonder if she's gonna mess up. They're they want you to succeed. And
absolutely.
For that show in particular, it was cool because it was a big stadium in my hometown. And growing up, I played a lot of radio shows and shows where there's been maybe 2,000 to 4,000 people with radio stuff where we've opened for an artist. And so I kind of told myself it's just all of those people throughout the years piled into one stadium. So it's trying to make it a little smaller in my head by thinking it's just your community and they're just all here at once. And they want you to succeed. And I think that helps me a lot with that performance.
It's a great point. These are just regular human beings out here, and they're actually here to see you, so they're already supportive.
Well, and it was a surprise, which was cool because I was the hometown girl walking out with Lee Bryce, and no one knew that was going to happen. So when they saw me, part of why it made it emotional for me is all these people that have supported me since I was a teenager were
wow.
That's our girl, she's on a stadium stage.
Did you have some tears come out? I mean, it had to be an emotional moment.
I didn't cry on stage, but beforehand and after, it was it was a big thing.
I see your producer over there kind of getting a little smile on. She must think.
My best friend, manager, she was there with me. I could only bring one person back, backstage. My whole band was out front too. They all got tickets to be in the pit. So I had a lot of people there that love me and support me. So it was a really special night. That
helps. Well, that's very cool stuff. So going to a show like this, there's a lot of big names here. Kenny Chesney's coming in. I know just tons of people. Is there anybody that you're just excited to see?
Yes, Miranda Lambert.
Oh,
she's
right.
a big influence on me.
And she's Sunday night, right?
She is.
Yeah. So she's would you say you kind of model yourself after her style a little?
Yeah, I very much model I love her songwriting, her production of her music. Country music has gotten very there's all these subgenres where some stuff is more pop, some stuff it just crosses over a lot right now, which is great. I think it introduces people to the genre.
100%. Right.
But Miranda very much sticks to an organic, true, traditional. It's not super traditional, but it's a contemporary country vibe where like it's not too pop and too overproduced.
Right. You're not going to hear her in a hip hop collaboration anytime soon.
Yeah, like some people like that and that's cool, but like I just really like how she stuck to her roots and like her sound, and she writes about things that means something to her, and like she actually is not with a label anymore, which is kind of a weird thing. Like the music industry right now is very unpredictable, like, and like just a lot of uncertainty about like do you try to be on a record label or do you be independent? Because with streaming, you know, you can be an independent artist and you can make a lot more money, like, and build your following, and you don't have a record label that you owe all this money to, and they're controlling a lot of things. So she's one of the first bigger artists that's she walked away from her deal with Sony.
Wow.
This year. So, you know, it's kind of cool to see her like, you know, taking a different path and seeing how it goes for her as an independent artist as big as she is, you know? Makes
a lot of sense, yeah. And I do think those are those business decisions you have to make sometimes. So, but that's a great point. So, Miranda, anybody else that you're particularly looking forward to seeing?
I just saw a girl named Megan Maroney. She just played about like an hour ago. She's a newer artist. I really like her sound. I mean, Brooks and Dunn, I mean, they're like, I love 90s country. Like, when we do like cover gigs, we're playing later for the after party. We do like a whole section of our set where it's all 90s country.
Nice.
So we do some Brooks and Dunn, some Shania Twain. Like we love, me and my band love that era of country music. So I'm looking forward to seeing them. Kenny's amazing. Chesney.
So now, do you get to, when you're back there, do you guys all hang out to some extent, or how does that work?
There's a little separation with like the big headliners. Like they don't let, like, unless you're on the big stage, like they have all the buses back there, and like you can like try to get back there. Actually, last year, probably shouldn't have done this, but I somehow got a ride on a golf cart to get back to VIP, and we got to be like right front row with Keith Urban, and like people were walking out of their tour buses when we walked out. I was like, we're not allowed back here, but it's fine. They don't know. They don't know.
It's all good, right?
Yeah.
Well, no, I have my own story from backstage last year. I tell this one sometimes to people. So I was backstage. You know LV Shane?
Yeah.
So I was doing an interview with him, and I was waiting to go on his tour bus, and out comes Luke Bryan.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's very cool, right? And I almost wasn't going to say anything, but I was with Greg Parrish. Greg says, let's go over and talk to Luke Bryan.
Yeah.
So Luke was very cool, very, very accommodating, lets me take a picture with him. The thing I did not realize is Luke Bryan is a lot taller than I thought he was.
Yeah, he's really tall.
Yeah.
I've never met him, but I've heard that he's like super tall.
I thought he was like 6 feet or something. Well, you know, I'm not a tall guy anyway. I look like a little munchkin man standing next to him. I have to, every time I show this picture to anybody, I'm like, no, you don't understand. Luke Bryan, you know, he has to duck.
Abnormally tall.
Yeah, he is. He is very much. But one of the coolest guys, and I felt like when you go back there, there's such a camaraderie.
Yeah.
No matter how, nobody acts like they're bigger than anything. So I walked away with a new appreciation.
Yeah, for the most part, usually like there's a festival in Charleston called Riverfront Revival, and they've only done it 1 year. They're doing the second year this year, and it's Darius Rucker. He's from Charleston.
Wow, that's awesome.
He's doing his own curated music festival, and he's picking like local people and people from Nashville. And we played it last year, and they had this thing called the Artist Compound, where every artist, no matter how big or small you were, you had your own section like of the tent, and then there was like this middle section of the tent where like they had like a buffet style dinner where everybody got to go mingle and like talk to each other, and it was great. I mean, you got to like talk to all those artists, and they were very nice. Like no matter if you were like a big artist or small artist, it was just nice.
So cool, very cool stuff. Well, as far as yourself, you know, you talked about your aspirations for your next level. When you're doing songs, do you write your own music, or how does that come together?
I do. I write my own music. I've done that since I was a teenager. I mean, I think every young girl with a guitar always said like Taylor Swift was a big influence. She's been a big influence on me.
I mean, Taylor Swift was huge to bring it so mainstream.
And she did a lot of big things for country music and music in general. But like, I very much style it like similar to her. I write a lot about relationships and like breakups and stuff like that. So it's always interesting, especially with my dad in the band. That's fun.
Oh yeah, you got to imagine. Was your dad learning things as you're singing?
Yeah, he's like, oh, I know who this is about.
All right, so I must know this. This is the question that everybody wonders. Has anybody ever called you and been like, hey, wait a minute, like an old boyfriend or something? Like, what was that song about?
I've never had that happen because usually they know it's about them.
Oh yeah, they don't have to ask.
I mean,
like,
I did premiere a song one time in front of one of my ex-boyfriends, and like he knew it was about him. He never heard it. He knew the title of the song, and I played it, and it was like at this award ceremony in Charleston, and like he stayed to listen, and as soon as he was done, he walked out. And I was like,
oh boy, that's rough. Yeah.
Like, this is the life of a songwriter.
I was gonna say,
it's just what you do. Like, it's not anything like you're trying to get back at anybody ever. It's just kind of like disclaimer. If you're in my life, I probably will write about it.
You may come in, and it could be good or bad.
Good or bad, that's up to you.
Hey, look, I'm going to say right now, if my wife wrote country music, I'd be like the best. Like, I'd even be a better husband than I am now. I'd be like just minding my P's and Q's, you know.
Yeah.
No, very cool. Well, Lauren, it's been amazing to have you on here. What's next for you over the next, say 12 months?
Well, I've got an album coming out. Speaking of writing music, I just did like the photo shoot for it, all the video content. So I've had a few singles off of that album come out over the last year. So we'll be releasing like the project as a whole probably in August or September.
Wow, congratulations. That's amazing.
I'm very excited.
Well, we know you're a Charleston person then, so you'll have to come back and see us sometime.
Yeah, I would love to.
Yeah, you've been great to have on today. And I know I told you got a busy schedule coming up, so I don't want to eat up too much of your time. But what's your next singing time, and if you want to tell the people how they can see you? Yeah,
so if you're at CCMF, our next performance time will be at the Blue Moon stage, I think at 3 tomorrow, and then we'll be at the Zen stage on Sunday at 6 o'clock. Okay. And then you can catch us in Charleston most every weekend, and we travel a little bit too, so sometimes we're in Myrtle Beach or Greenville or Columbia. So I've got all our shows on my website.
And what is your website?
It's laurenhallmusic.com.
laurenhallmusic.com. Well, guys, check her out. Lauren's amazing. It's been great having you on the show. Best of luck with this weekend.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's great to have you. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to the fans. Thank you to Grand Strand Brew Company. Thank you to Carolina Bays Real Estate. Also, thank you to Lord Electric for some of the music. And we'll see you guys next time. Leader Mentality Show.